The book will teach you how to control your thoughts and feelings. It will actually teach you how to get rid of sadness, depression, anxiety, stress, and fear, and teach you how to get happiness whenever you want. Knowing the beautiful thing is something you can apply today and get its results today and quickly. Explanation of the book, The Power of Now, by the author Eckhart Tolle in this video. You need a cup of The idea of the channel is that I read a book and give you a full explanation. I do not summarize it or review it fully. If you like the idea of the channel, honor me with your subscription. In the introduction to the book, Eckhart Tolle gave us the story, which was considered the biggest turning point in his life, and it is the reason and motivation for writing this book. The story in brief says that I was in a period of my life that reached the highest levels of depression. My friend the follower, depression does not mean sadness. Sadness is one thing and depression is another. The important thing is that he says that the feeling of depression had complete control over me, and I reached a stage where I decided to end my life. That's it. Life is over. Bye-bye. And on that night, which was considered the last night I would live in this life, I was sitting arguing with myself and destroying myself from everything in my life. Why did this happen to me in my life? Why did I live like this? Why did I go through this? Why did this person betray me? Why did this person betray me? Why did I not succeed in achieving this thing? And not to reach this thing? The important thing is that he says the last sentence with which he concluded this argument and discussion was, "I can no longer bear to live with myself." You hear this sentence and I hear this sentence, and we see that there is nothing in it, but Eckhart Tolle increased the sentence a little. He said, wait a minute. I no longer find living with myself difficult? Me and myself? Or are we two things or one thing? Wait. A topic that needs thinking. How can I not live with myself? Who is myself and who am I? He said, it is impossible. It is impossible that we are two different selves. Either I am real and myself is the illusion, or myself is real and I am the illusion, and I must know now which of us is real. He says, indeed, this idea is the turning point in my life. He says, as soon as I reached this realization, silence prevailed in my life. He says, indeed, I no longer heard anything, as if I had withdrawn from this world completely, and I sailed in thinking about this topic, until I ended up. Eckhart Tolle says, I woke up the next day to find that the golden rays of the sun had penetrated the window and filled the entire room and apartment for me. The light owned the place and owned my life. And my feeling at that moment says I sat contemplating the room, the wallpaper, the furniture, as if I was seeing my room for the first time. And I noticed how beautiful my room was. It was beautiful, and all this beauty I'd never seen. They say I had a glass of water. I took a sip of water, and it was one of the most delicious sips I have ever taken in my life. And I began to think about this strange liquid. I began to notice it as if I was noticing it for the first time. How this liquid that has no taste or smell gave me that great pleasure in that sip, and how this liquid is impossible to do without in life, and how it is beautiful when it is in the form of a river, and beautiful when it is in the form of rain, and beautiful when it is in the form of the sea. And I began to sailing, thinking about this water. And after the water, I got up from my bed and went near the window. I opened the window and felt the beautiful air coming in. And then I sat looking at that beautiful tree that had been in front of my window all these years, and I could not see it. So I sat contemplating in the tree. Oh, the beauty of the leaves, and the beauty of the branches, and the tree trunk that lives for hundreds of years, and the birds that pass over it, and the squirrel that lives in it, and how much this tree has seen, and how long it has lived. And I began to contemplating the tree for a long time. And after I finished with the tree, I decided to get dressed and go down from my apartment and walk in the city streets. as if it were the first time I lived in this city. How beautiful the ancient architecture is, and the beauty of the modern architecture, and how I see the civilizations mixed together, and the accumulations of history still present in the buildings. Something great and something wonderful. And those moments were the happiest moments of my life. He says that yesterday I was about to end my life, and today I am living the highest levels of joy and happiness. How? What happened? What happened? This is what Eckhart Tolle explained to us in the book. And he told you the secret is in the power of now. The part that you heard from Ahmed al-Shakiri in the clip, he was saying that we feel sadness, fear, anxiety, tension, and depression. And all these feelings are because we are living either in the past or in the present. What does this mean? He says that you feel sad because you are living and remembering events that happened in the past. People you lost, people who betrayed you or deceived you, situations that were bad, painful, negative, and all the events that might come to your mind in which we feel sad. And of course, I told you before, and let me tell you now, that feelings are thoughts, but they are so strong that the body begins to react to them. The idea that you remember a dear person who passed away makes your body react to this strong idea, and you start to cry or feel sad, etc. Emotions, in short, are thoughts, but they are strong thoughts. He says that we feel these negative feelings because we are living in the past or we are living in the future that worries us, scares us, and makes us live in tension. He doesn't need to give examples. I expect the words are clear. He says that in order for people to feel happy, they go in search for the now and the present. He tries as much as possible to find a way to live in this moment. And if he lives in the moment, he feels happy. And from this, he gives examples of addicted people. He said, for example, the addicted person receives doses of whatever they are, of alcohol or drugs, in order to live in the moment and live in the now. And from that, he feels happy. Let me do this in order to forget. And actually, in order to forget either the past or the future, and begin to live in that moment. He says the same story. There are people living now, but without bad behaviors. Painters, for example, musicians, singers, someone who plays PlayStation, someone who watches a movie, someone who watches anime, someone who travels or sits with friends or goes out to a cafe and so on. Even readers have the same story. All of them, all of these people live now, but each one of us has a style and a way to live in now. So that's why he said, if you want to get rid of a bad habit that is living you now, replace it with a good habit that is living you now. And this is what actually happened to me. I decided at the time that I would read a book every week on the basis that whenever I came to practice that bad behavior, I would go and open the book directly. Also bought myself a plant that I was taking care of at that time, on the basis that also, if I didn't feel like reading a book, I would go take care of the plant. And also, my friend gave me a music player, and I started playing on it. And so on I tried. He told me several ways to replace those bad behaviors. And indeed, my friend the follower, the matter succeeded with determination and persistence, of course. What happened with Eckhart Tolle is exactly the same as what I told you about now. Eckhart Tolle was living in the past or in the future. And this is exactly what he said. And he says, the moment I lived now, I began to notice everything beautiful around me. And I noticed how beautiful my room was, and the wallpaper was beautiful. And the balcony and the engravings on it were how beautiful. And I noticed the buildings and the tree and so on. And I began to see the beauty actually in that moment. And this is the reason for my transformation from a person who was about to end his life to a cheerful person who tries as much as possible to preserve that beautiful moment and wants it to last and never end. So Eckhart Tolle says to you, I realize that the now has power and its effect will be very strong on your life, emotionally, physically, emotionally, and on all the details. So the conclusion of this part is that you, the follower, must live now in this moment, because the now moment does not last long, and you will lose it, and you will lose its pleasure. And now you may take a period to recall some of the moments that you spent in the past. and miss the beauty that was present in them. And I will tell you that you are now going through very beautiful moments that will not last long. So try to live them and feel their beauty now. Let me give you the best example to prove my words, which is our childhood when we were excessive. And as for people, they are almost 100% safe too, but very high. We all love our childhood even though it may temporarily have very bad situations and very painful memories. But we still prefer childhood life over today's life. And the reason is that he lives only now and in the moment. The child thinks about the past and does not think about the future. The child thinks only about this moment. What does he do? I want to play. I want to guarantee the ephemeral sweetness. I want to guarantee something else only. To end his day in bed, sleeping, and wake up tomorrow in the same story. Sport, beautiful sport all day in search of moments only. Even though you might be a subscriber to the same game every day, and watch the same cartoon series every day, and sit with the same maybe every day, but it was very good. And the more you go back in age, you will be happier and happier looking at the events that used to happen. So we tried to live this moment and enjoy it. By the way, we are talking about the most beautiful ways that you can live now. But before that, let me clarify to you a very important, controversial, and philosophical part that you will like, God willing. And that is the reason that makes you live either in the past or in the future or in the distorted future. You are now in your mind, Eckhart Tolle says no. You are an independent self. Carrying this knowledge or learning strangulation, what stage do you separate this legacy and live your own life? You will be able. You control your feelings 100-fold awareness because you have become what separates the trustworthy trustee. All the events and the poet and the memories and thoughts that are all, you will live happiness whenever you want. This talk is philosophical because it is philosophical. You may have experienced it and you may have passed, but I mean a point of view. Why is this kind of Eckhart Tolle? I tell you, the mind is what makes you accept for a part and you are lost now. Why does it only suspend you either in the past, which is considered your identity, or in the future, which is light, it will be your next identity? He tells you and bring that the past and future are an illusion. What? Yes, Eckhart Tolle says the past and future are an illusion. And Slick, my friend the follower, but I, forest with him 100 times. The truth is the objective existence outside of consciousness. Right? We all agree on this thing. And what does this talk mean also if you are the one who knows? Its meaning is that this cup is this, the real cup. What does real mean? Its existence is material. Okay, for the sake of explanation, we go back to it. It has a material and objective existence. Consciousness is tired, meaning what is outside of consciousness is tired. Meaning with us, did you know that the cup exists outside of it, exists, or did you not know that the cup exists? The cup exists. Did you believe that the cup exists, or did you not believe it? The cup exists. Agree or yes? The cup exists. This is the truth. Eckhart Tolle says the past is an illusion because it has no material existence. And this is actually true. For example, when I was 5 years old, I looked like this, and that way does not exist. Today, it no longer exists. So he says all past events are an illusion. I do not agree with him about the word that has no material existence, because it has an objective existence. Anyway, he will say that for this reason, the past is not real for me, and the future is the same story. For example, if you are a student, graduation day for you is a future event, right? But the event is still not real, because what has not happened yet, excellent, the moment we reach the graduation day, and you graduate on that day actually. So the graduation day becomes a reality. But be careful. It is no longer considered future. It is considered present. The graduation day for you on that day is considered now. It is not considered future. And that is why Eckhart Tolle says, events in the past are an illusion, and future events are an illusion, and all of them. Where is it located? It is located in your mind. The problem is that your mind will make you cling to it, either in the past or in the future. Don't lose this moment. Oh God, oh God, oh God, over the philosophy that this person is philosophizing about. Oh people, philosophy's fun. By God, fun, fun. That's why he tells you that it is impossible for you to get rid of the past and the future, always and forever. No, 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 that's not what he wants to reach you at all. But he wants you, if you feel tired and sadness, depression, and regret have bothered you, to decide to disconnect your mind. The matter is over. Once you disconnect your mind, you will forget all these feelings momentarily. For a short period of time, you will start living now. You will start living the moment. This is the important moment. Why is this moment important? Because the events you are experiencing today are what will be considered the past for you in a few days. So you can make your own past. If you live this moment with complete happiness, it will come tomorrow, or after a week, or after a month, or after a year, and you will remember this beautiful past in which you lived, beautiful moments, like this moment when you watch the Wake Up Stick episode. This is the purpose of the philosophy of disconnecting your mind. And by the way, he tells you that the problem with our minds is that they always delude us that happiness is related to the future. For example, he says that it makes you believe that happiness comes from the outside, and that if you get such and such a thing, or reach such and such a rank, or achieve such and such a goal, you will feel happy then. They say that the truth is that happiness is not related to external matters. Listen to these very beautiful words about happiness. Honestly, this part is one of the most beautiful parts I have heard about happiness in my life. He tells you that the person who makes the source of his happiness outside will first lose the moment until he gets that thing that he considers happiness. And secondly, he says that if you derive the feeling of happiness from the outside world is dual. In it is happiness, and in it is sadness. In it is good, and in it is bad. In it is beautiful, and in it is ugly. In it are all the opposites that exist in the universe. Just as the outside world gives you happiness, the outside world will give you sadness. Just as it gives you joy, it will give you depression. So do not derive these feelings from outside. Let their source be inside. I mean, how? It means that your happiness comes from within you and in you. You are the one who interprets the events around you as happy or not. You are the one who lives happily regardless of external events. And for this reason, some people are extremely poor. Some of them are homeless in the street. They don't have a home, but they are happy. Very, very, very happy. Unlike some of the wealthy may be depressed, as is rumored, while the poor are respectable. Some of the wealthy may be wealthy but depressed or sad. Depressed or sad. This is one thing, and that is another. So happiness does not. It is derived from the outside. It is derived from the inside. And this is one of the most creative details that Eckhart Tolle said in the book. Your mind, my friend, the follower, is what makes you live the distorted present. It makes you live a present that is originally tied to the past or the future. For example, like the person who aspires to obtain a certain position or a certain promotion. He says, for example, I am trying to live now in that I work hard these 8 hours a day, and I strive at this moment in order to obtain that position. The present that he lives in is a distorted present. It is not a real present. And the same story with people who live current events whose causes are accumulated from the past, or are consequences of events that happened in the past. This present is a distorted present. Do you want to know an undistorted present? I saw your story, Eckhart Tolle, sitting in the apartment contemplating the light and the blessing and so on. The furniture, the water, and thinking, the tree that is sitting watching it. All these events that happened to it, and we talked about them at the beginning of the video, that is the present and undistorted present. And it is neither tied to the future nor affected by the past at all. Okay, how do we separate our minds and how do we live an undistorted present? This is exactly what I will teach you, my dear, in the next part, which is considered the best part I have seen in the book. In terms of beauty, that is, the part of contemplation, There are many ways in which you can separate your mind and live in an undistorted present, but now we will talk about the best way, or one of the best ways in which you can separate your mind and live in an undistorted present. And believe me, you will feel happy, and this happened to me from experience. Once I was traveling with my family, and there were parrots that tourists take pictures with, in most of the tourist countries. So after we finished taking pictures with the parrot, its owner came and put it on the nest. And while they were choosing the pictures, and a family, the subject will take a long time. I was happy and I was the first one, and I chose the picture that I said, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one. That's it. Okay, we're done. And then I went to watch the parrot while he was eating the sunflower seeds. So I sat looking at its beak, feathers, and eyes, and how it takes the seed and how it peels it exactly, and how it reaches the core inside it, how it behaves and how it moves and so on. And I sat looking at the feathers and the gradation of colors, and how it can imitate sounds and pronounce letters and words. For example, I was saying, how does it pronounce the letter M? When our lips match, this means the letter M. It is a beak. How can it imitate it or pronounce it and so on? My friend, the follower, a quarter of an hour. I swear to God, a quarter of an hour passed while I was standing without noticing. When my sister hit me to remind me that we should go, it was as if she had woken me up from my sleep. Imagine. After she hit me, and I felt this strange feeling. Something suddenly detached. She said to me, "Let's go." I sat thinking that I was experiencing a strange feeling. It was not a feeling of happiness, nor a feeling of joy, nor ibtihaj. Was a strange feeling that I cannot describe to this day. I cannot describe it. And I sat thinking that the quarter hour passed quickly for me. How I felt in it, and what was that feeling that I wanted to live. And of course, I am one of the people who think deeply about the most trivial matters. And indeed, the whole way I was sitting, thinking about this thing that happened to me, I noticed that it was a dose of meditation doses. And I knew that meditation is completely separating the mind. That is, stopping thinking completely. And I immediately remembered directly what my father said. Most of my life, I used to go to him and see that he had put on a documentary channel. And I used to say to him, "Why did you put on a documentary channel?" At the time, I was not interested in the documentary channel as much as I am today. But he used to tell me I put it on because it helps me meditate. My son, and he used to tell me to help me meditate. And I did not understand what he meant. Today, you know what he meant, and my father exactly. I knew what meditation is, and I knew the feeling of meditation is beautiful. And I knew why those who practice yoga sit for hours, meditating in so serenity, really, really serenity. I just now understand their feelings, and perhaps I haven't even reached their actual feelings. But that dose of meditation for the parrot, in which I separated everything, and I stopped thinking completely, made me live a strange, very strange feeling. From that day until today, I have been trying to repeat it as much as possible. I found and obtained the feeling my friend who follows and obtained. I obtained it when I play the piano, and when I enter the aquarium and watch fish. And today you can live meditation at any moment and in any place, but be careful. One of the conditions of meditation is that there are no interruptions at all. A mobile phone with notifications buzzing every now and then, and you go out to watch, this is not meditation. People are with you and you joke with them. This is not meditation. Meditation is that you are sitting on the beach of the Maldives in the part of your villa in your situation. No one is with you. You don't have a mobile phone at all. And you sit and meditate on the sea. God, what beauty. And you are not anywhere and meditate on anything, but the important thing is that you are not exposed to interruptions at all. Meditation needs serenity, it needs purity, it needs calmness. This is meditation. Try, my friend who follows you, and you will pray for me. You will pray for me. And I think that people who own animals, such as cats or parrots or birds and so on, know this feeling. I expect this feeling more than me as well. Really, cats teach us by God in the comments, or anyone who has any animal who can teach us in the comments? Do you really feel this feeling or not? I expect they do because their connection to the animal they raise is very, very strong, to the point that they don't want to lose it, and they don't even want to lose the moments they live with it. The important thing, my friend, the follower, is that we conclude with a beautiful conclusion that you must live now. Your present today is the future that you were waiting for, and it is the past that you weave yourself. And record it in your memory and remember it for the rest of your life. Your present today is the beautiful moment that you are living. Today is the beautiful one. If you live the moment, you will live its beauty, so do not lose it because it is very short. I saw your story, Eckhart Tolle, that I told you in the first video. It was present. Now it is considered the past, my friend who follows. But if you live it in its moment, you will experience its beauty. So we must live now, and we must separate our minds whenever this mind exhausts us, and separate it with contemplation that does not need any interruption. Try to have means of contemplation at home. Try. And a simple Google search will teach you what are the things that stimulate contemplation, and try to bring them or go to them. And always remember that if you get your hours from the outside itself will give you the exact opposite of this feeling. Just as it gives you happiness, it gives you sadness. Just as it gives you joy, it gives you depression. Just as it gives you beauty, it gives you ugliness. So make the source and wellspring of happiness from within. You will be happy when you are in the room, and happy when you are in Paris, and happy when you are on the plane, and happy when you are by the sea. Happy everywhere and at all times, and regardless of the state you are living in. If the feeling of happiness comes from you, you will live it in every moment. And by the way, there is an important point I must conclude with it, and it is very, very, very necessary. One of the greatest sources of meditation that I must conclude this video with is prayer. These words are not kissing. These words are not exaggeration or hyperbole. Prayer is one of the best sources of meditation that you can experience in every place and at every time, and regardless of the circumstances and the environment around you. Prayer does not need a bird, the sea, travel, a parrot, or anything. Prayer can be practiced anywhere, at any moment, and you can even practice it while you are in a deep sleep, for sick people and so on, and they can experience the highest levels of ecstasy and meditation. And the prayer that I am talking about is the prayer that actually has feeling and actually has meditation. And it is not in the usual prayer that we practice. May God forgive us. The prayer in which you are sensing every verse that you say and sensing every supplication that you actually pray and every remembrance that you mention, this prayer that I am talking about. And go prove to yourself this episode that you are the one who needs prayer. Not the Lord of the worlds. God is independent of it, you see. With this, I conclude this beautiful book, My Friend Who Follows. I hope that it was a useful book, and if you watch it useful, that you share with your loved ones on WhatsApp, Snapchat, X platform, Instagram, and everywhere. And the like that you will give us will help in spreading the video to a larger segment. As I told you at the beginning of the episode, if you like the idea of the channel, honor me by subscribing and follow me on the rest of the social media programs. You will find the links in the description until I meet you next week, God willing, with a more beautiful and better dose. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your time that is priceless.